Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. The New York Mets are right now going through the exact same struggle the Giants had when they were trying to sign Carlos Correa. The Mets are now raising concerns about Correa's health. And the Mets can do this. They've got a high budget, a strong team, a great team that's well equipped and prepared to contend. They can afford to avoid taking this financial risk with Correa. But the Giants, where are they? Asleep? What's it time for them to do? Just think about it. You're being consistent. It means it's time for the Giants to swoop down and grab Correa right back. It's time for them to come in and affirm that they're playing by the Mets rules and take Correa back. Since if this rule that a player can renegotiate when his contract isn't immediately confirmed, if that rule is correct, it's in effect now, it's got to apply equally to both sides, that would imply that Carlos Correa is still a free agent on the board. And if that's the case, the Giants should not hesitate to get him, and if they do not do it, it means they're asleep. And Scott Boras will switch sides. I'm confident he will. He's perfectly capable of switching sides again, unless, of course, he has some inherent bias against the Giants' complete inability to really get anything done. Which, if that's the case, they just need to offer Correa a deal with no physical or anything, just guaranteed right here. Big risk, yeah. Only way to save the season? It might be. Might be that they just have to hope that Correa is going to turn out. And then you say, well, the concern that the Giants had is just being reinforced if the Mets share it. The only thing that to me is being reinforced is that the Giants' offseason is just being blown awry. That's all I can see, so that's not something I'm quite ready to listen to. And you could also say, well, the Mets' concerns didn't raise as much panic as the Giants did about the contract not being finalized. Even that is not the point. No, the rule is going to be the same. If it puts the status of the contract in doubt at all, and to the best of my understanding, the Mets have not finalized the contract yet, that means Correa can negotiate. There's no way even to really put a line down, like if there's at least 40% chance that the contract won't be confirmed in the end. Where is that? Who says anything about it? I don't know. So this, for all intents and purposes, is the same situation, and Scott Boras, if he did it before, he's capable of getting a new negotiation with the Giants and bringing Correa back into San Francisco. That's possible, and while I don't have a way of proving the Giants aren't doing that, and it's possible that they're just choosing to keep their proceedings secret, I don't really have any reason to think that they are. If Correa is not confirmed with the Mets, though, it means he's a free agent. That's what it means. The Mets did that to the Giants. Why can't the Giants just kind of swoop down there? And the Mets, having already spent as much as they have this offseason, may not really be able to fight too hard for Correa in this thing that would really be likely to turn into a bidding war. I think that's what would be particularly likely here. But to me, it just seems like the Giants are asleep. They could have a chance to get Correa again. Because they don't finalize the deal with Correa. He negotiates with the Mets. They participate in the same refusal to confirm Correa's contract. What is the real difference here? That's what I'm trying to get. What is the real difference to get to the point where the Giants can't jump in there? And one thing that may be different is that certainly in the Giants' case, it was Correa and his agent Boras that initiated the process of looking elsewhere with teams. Even that's not a major enough difference to really change the essence of the situation. Even if Boras is not going to do that again, he's not going to immediately take Correa away and jump around with negotiations. And part of that reason is because he realizes the Mets are the team. I think they're the team with the biggest budget in baseball. I could be wrong about that, but I think they're the team with the biggest, and Boris realizes he's probably not going to get a better deal elsewhere, and probably in his mind the Giants have already kind of passed by on Correa, which I don't think that's true, because they really seems like they would have finalized the deal in the end. Seemed to be a pretty big heartbreak in the Giants community after they lost Correa. That's how you can tell. It seemed like he had signed with them. He signed with the Mets, and the Giants legitimately considered that a failure. Seemed to be just a tragedy. That's how you can tell that their true opinion of Correa was that he belonged on the team. The only way that might change is if they think that because the Mets are having issues with him, that just confirms their concerns. But again, I don't see too much that's confirmed here or that changes the whole risk-benefit analysis. Just because the Giants and the Mets see the same thing in the physical doesn't mean they aren't both capable of deciding whether it's worth it locking him in for the long term because of just how well he'd be likely to perform if he was healthy. And that's the way the Giants more than ever need to think, due to the fact that they're in need of some kind of superstar talent on their team, and there's essentially no more of it. They need Carlos Correa right now. And that's where things stand. So the Mets, it could take them a while to get the contract confirmed, and like I mentioned, I think that Correa and his agent Scott Boras are in an awkward position to really go elsewhere right now. I don't think they want to ditch the Mets at this point, since the Mets have just shown that they know how to play baseball and they're willing to spend a ton of money. So with no other teams, at least no other teams that are likely to be standing in the way, it's the Giants' chance now to jump in and take Correa back. And why they don't do that is more than I can truly understand. And they're still, I'm sure they're still feeling like there's some kind of a risk there, but you either got to decide to take the risk or else not be so sorry about losing Correa. He's the best free agent on the board. When I said I didn't want them signing injured players, I was not referring to situations such as this one. I was referring to situations where, say, you get a guy who played in only a few games the previous year and had, with bad performance, had this long extended injury, not only 50% likely to be ready for opening day, and was a risk in that sense. Not one of the big free agent names that everybody's talking about. That's what I truly meant when I said be careful of signing injured players. And I certainly want the action taken now that Correa is the only guy left on the board. And you might say, well, this is a long-term deal, and we can't just think about 2023 here. What if his leg turned out to be a long-term issue? I understand if it didn't, the Giants would have one of the best players in baseball for a long time to come. That is what it's canceled out by. The Giants can do this analysis now. If they're still a little worried, if they still think that they'd be taking a risk on Correa, it's just better, I think, than having a dud 2023 season going into it the way it is. So if they have come out of this, if there's a chance the Giants could just come out of this and say they were foolish to think anything was wrong with Correa, and his agent Scott Boras, and I understand Boras is the guy representing Correa, he's saying what he wants the truth to be, but I believe it is the truth, what he's saying about this thing with Correa's leg being in the past and not being likely to be a future issue. Scott Boras doesn't think it's going to be an issue for him. And yeah, it's what Boras wants to believe, but I believe it is the truth because I think it is. I don't think that Correa's leg problem is going to be a long-term issue, and the reason I don't think that is because there wasn't any reason going into this offseason to expect that Correa wouldn't have been healthy. So this type of injury concern, to the best of my understanding, is not the kind of injury concern that you want to allow you to miss out on a big signing. Some concerns are this concern to me does not rise to that kind of a level. It doesn't rise to a level of where you would be okay with missing out on a big signing. So that's where the Giants stand currently, and they need to jump in and take Correa if it's possible to do that. Thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Last reminder that schedule has changed to Thursdays for, I believe, the rest of this offseason. Please keep questions and comments coming. I'd be happy to answer them, and I'll see you next time. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.